Narcissistic relationships are painful and harmful in so many ways. And it happens slowly, over time, so gradual that it's hard to put a pin in it. When you enter into a relationship with a narcissist, and if you are a normal person, you come from a place of innocence, and it is difficult to understand all of the dynamics that are being thrust upon you. It takes a lot of time to realize this behavior for what it is, but my goal is to point it out and to help you wake up to it before it takes you down as far as it took me. I'm Grace. I walked this wicked path for over 6 years until it almost took my life from me. I wrote about my experience in a new book, and it'll be released soon. But today, I want to talk about something that nagged at me, but I always felt as if it was too trivial to give it too much thought. And it was certainly something I never expressed out loud until now. When I first started falling for Neil, I began to notice that compliments were as rare as unicorns. No matter how much effort I put into putting myself together, staying on top of my wardrobe and appearance in an effort to always look nice, he never seemed to notice. After some time, as the relationship progressed, I also started noticing that when we were out together, like going out to dinner or out shopping or walking anywhere, it began to feel like a solo journey. He would charge forward, leaving me behind, as if he were not with me. So we're talking about two very subtle but devastating tactics used by a narcissistic partner: withholding validation and public distancing. We've talked about the obvious red flags, the rages, the obvious manipulation, the clear boundary violations. But this is something more subtle, something that happens so gradually, so quietly, that you might not even recognize it as abuse. These are the silent signs, the ones that make you question yourself rather than question them. Let me paint you a picture. You've spent an hour getting ready. You've chosen your outfit very carefully. You've done your hair just right. You've picked out that perfect perfume or cologne that you know makes you smell amazing. You feel good about yourself. You're excited to see your partner's reaction. And then, nothing. Not a single word about how you look. Not even a glance that lingers appreciatively. Meanwhile, strangers compliment your dress. Your friends tell you how great you look. But the one person whose opinion you really want, the one person you want to notice you, radio silent. This is not accidental. This is strategic. So why do narcissists withhold compliments? Narcissists understand something fundamental about human psychology. We crave validation from those that we love. And when they withhold it, several things happen. First, it creates scarcity. When compliments are rare, they become precious. You start working harder and harder for that one moment of approval that might not never come. Second, it destabilizes your self-worth. You begin to question yourself. Maybe I don't look as good as I thought. Maybe I'm not attractive to him. And the third thing, it creates dependency. You become more and more focused on earning their approval, which means less energy for your own needs, your own goals, your own life. When your partner consistently withholds positive feedback, your brain starts to adapt. You begin to seek validation more desperately. Second guess your own judgment about your appearance. Feel confused about your worth. Work overtime to earn basic respect that should be freely given. This isn't about being needy or fishing for compliments. No. This is basic human recognition and appreciation in a loving relationship. So let's take a little deeper look into what is really happening here. And it may seem trivial, but it does cut deep. I remember those early days walking hand in hand, side by side, moving through the world as a team. But then something shifted. Suddenly, I was trailing behind like a lost puppy, while Neil would stride ahead, creating a distance that felt both physical and emotional. When a narcissistic partner stops walking with you, stops holding your hand, stops presenting you as their equal partner, they're sending multiple messages. They're sending a message to you. You are not important enough to stay close to. They're sending a message to the world. I'm not really with this person. And then there's the message to themselves. I maintain control by keeping distance. There is something very cruel about public distancing. It's abuse that happens in plain sight. Yet it is so subtle that bystanders don't see it. But you feel it. You feel the humiliation of being left behind, of looking like you're chasing after someone who doesn't want to be with you. This behavior serves to isolate you emotionally, to make you feel unwanted and undesirable, and to establish their dominance and your subordination. These behaviors, withholding compliments, public distancing, they're forms of emotional starvation. They're not giving you the basic emotional nutrients that healthy relationships require. So let's break down the cycle of emotional starvation. The withholding phase, this is where they deny you basic validation and connection. The confusion phase, you question yourself and your self-worth. The pursuit phase, you try harder to earn what should be freely given. The temporary relief phase, occasionally, they might throw you a crumb of validation. And then there's the addiction phase. You become hooked on those rare moments of approval. And then it's repeated. The cycle begins again, often with higher stakes. This tactic works for the narcissist because it doesn't look like abuse to outsiders. It makes you blame yourself rather than them. It creates trauma bonds through intermittent reinforcement. And it slowly erodes your self-esteem and your independence. I think it's important to discuss the contrast of this behavior to healthy relationships. In a healthy relationship, you will receive just as much as you give regular appreciation. Partners in healthy relationships notice and complement each other's efforts, appearance, and qualities. Not constantly, but regularly and genuinely. Healthy partners want to be seen with you. They walk beside you. Sometimes they take your hand. They introduce you proudly to others. There is a consistent validation. You don't have to earn basic respect and recognition. It's given freely because you matter to them. In a healthy relationship, there is emotional generosity. Love isn't rationed. Compliments aren't hoarded. Affection isn't a limited resource. Your worth isn't determined by their ability to see or acknowledge it. If everyone else can see how great you look, but they can't, that's not a you problem. That's a them problem. And I'd like to suggest that you stop chasing breadcrumbs. Stop working overtime for basic recognition. Stop trying to earn what should be freely given. Your energy is precious, and don't waste it on someone who won't appreciate it. And most importantly, will never change. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust that feeling in your gut that says, this is not normal, or this isn't how I should be treated. The absence of something isn't always neutral. Sometimes the absence of validation, the absence of public affection, the absence of basic recognition is a form of emotional abuse. You deserve a partner who sees your value and tells you about it. You deserve someone who's proud to walk beside you. You deserve someone who doesn't make you beg for basic human recognition. These silent signs might not be as obvious as raging or name-calling, but they're just as damaging to your spirit and your sense of self. If this video resonates with you, please like it and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments. Remember, you are worthy of love and respect and recognition. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise.